Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay, wow. Okay, so this is called Soldiers from the Gaza Border at Rest. And so it's let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 12 guys just sitting down on this fake turf, I guess. Sitting, it's a weird kind of thing. So you've got the floodlights, and behind them you've got like the tables, and I guess you've got more soldiers, and you've got like these weird tents, and you've got the lights strewn up. You got the trees in the background. It's at night, it's a night shot. It looks like there's a barbecue going on. You can see cars off in the distance parked. I mean, other than the fact that, I mean, they're at rest, kind of dirty, kind of, just sort of relaxing in army fatigues. You manage to get them all smiling at you, which is really kind of a not a disconcerting, but it's a slightly jarring sort of thing, because it almost looks like, well, they're relaxed and they're catching their breath, and because they're human, they're like looking at you. Some are holding up like plastic bottles of Coke or whatever it is, drinking. Yeah, so it's a funny juxtaposition of why everybody's kind of come together and is so focused, and the reality of their situation, and yet seem to have this sort of emotional break where they're smiling and they're kind of, yeah. So why don't you take us through that?
Okay, so just to give you an idea of the environment. Okay, so yeah, the volunteers have been doing this since day one, and they bring the fake grass to cover a huge area. Okay, and they set up these covers. Okay, because rain or shine, they need to support the soldiers, to feed them. And what you see in the background, yeah, you see some smoke, and that is from barbecues. They, just give you an idea, okay, of on this particular night, okay, they had at least, I guess, 1, 2, 3, probably 8 barbecues running. Some of them are 6 feet and 8 feet long, and they cooked up 1,100 burgers. Okay. Plus whatever else they served. And they had cake, they had ice cream, they had fruit, they had all the drinks that they could drink. Okay. They had everything for the soldiers. Okay. This is all volunteer based. This is all food brought in from people like you and me who just want to help. This is not subsidized by the IDF or anything. And they set themselves up on a crossroads that is convenient for these guys, or rotating in and out, to come in and take a break and socialize and eat something good before going back, okay, to the front. And at this point, this is probably already like 8 o'clock. I've been there many hours already. I've talked to a lot of these guys already. I have other photographs of these guys. They know me already. It's not a problem. I have another photo where the guy with the gun and I switched places. Okay, so that's for me. Okay, just to prove that I was there. Okay, this photographer never gets any credit, for anything. So yeah, so they were really friendly. They were nice. They didn't mind having their photos taken, and most of these guys probably already have these photos. So at this point, there are I'm guessing probably 3-4 dozen volunteers. They're all working the kitchen, slicing the onions, making the salads, preparing the sandwiches. It's like assembly line work, and they're doing a phenomenal job. They've got a leader telling them what to do, and those 1,100 hamburgers that came off the grill, it was amazing to see. It was just amazing. How much work. And that's one evening. They do this every single day since the war started. The volunteers keep coming in constantly on rotation, just to help the guys out.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys are in a good mood. I mean, look, this is 1 week in. Okay, so we got over the shock a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some of the horror, and now the mood is we're going to be victorious. It's just a
Right.
question of time. We
Yeah.
will win this. It's just a question of time. Okay, the country is not at risk at this point. We are mobilized, we are ready, and we're ready at all the fronts. And
Mm-hmm.
at this point, most of the world is actually with Israel. I mean,
Right.
they are because we put out the videos and the horrid pictures and the numbers were gruesome. I mean, the
Yeah.
babies and the stories had already come out 1 week later. So
Mm-hmm.
the mood is enthusiastic. The mood is not day one mood. This is like day 7 or 8 at this point.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It's just to show you that the unity is there, the strength is there, okay, and the morale is there. Okay. They're not
Mm-hmm.
eyes drawn and all that stuff. They told me many, many stories. I have stories. I met a lieutenant who his job was to do DNA sampling.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed me photos on his phone of what the remains of a 12-year-old looks like in a shopping bag. He's the guy that goes and digs up the bones and the blood samples and has to put a face to the DNA sample. He's the guy that looked at the charred bodies and the photos I saw of charred bodies in vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that picks up the remains of lifeless babies, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just telling me as if this is what he does.
Yeah.
It was just blown away by, wow. And I asked him, how do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night
Mm-hmm.
seeing all this stuff? And of course, he's not a young guy. He's in his 40s. He's been doing this a long time. Just the job. That's what he said, just a
Mm-hmm.
job.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've spoken to a lot of people who aren't there, a lot of people who are looking from the outside, as I am, right? And in a way, it's how do you it's really it's so hard to even talk about because it's so outside of the normal way of doing things, of living things, which is, one of the reasons why I want to connect with you. And I think one of the reasons why you do street photography and you do this kind of photography is to help people have a
It's in the
sense,
it's yeah, it's in the awareness. It's in the awareness side.
Yeah.
I want people to
Can,
understand.
yeah. So should we go on to the next photo?
No, I just want to say that I mean I did look forward to possibly doing this again. I kept it under wraps. I didn't tell anybody because they would freak out. I just want to point out that being on site was not as terrible as being off site. Okay.
Okay.
What they're showing off site and actually being there surrounded by other Israelis, family, sort of holding each other up, um, going through the emotion together was actually very soothing. And I did not feel threatened. I said to myself that I would stay as long as possible. At this point, understand that there were no commercial flights coming in or leaving Israel other than El Al.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously, I guess the airspace was not under full control. They had issues, safety issues, and I understand that. And I was not going to leave anytime soon. I felt fine. I felt fine, and I felt like I wanted to understand the story, and I could tell the story being there. But from the outside, my siblings and my parents and my kids and friends were basically telling me that I'm crazy and I need to leave immediately.
Yeah.
I was forced out, and I can tell you that a little later on. Okay.
So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.